Thank you, Neil. Here's what's happening in the region. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro said on Tuesday he was committed to talks with the opposition to resolve a political crisis, hours after opposition leader Juan Guaido said there would never be a good time to negotiate with a dictatorship. Guaido and Maduro had both sent representatives to Oslo in May for discussions that Norway's government had encouraged, but they were unable to reach any agreement, Reuters reported. On Saturday, people familiar with negotiations told Reuters that talks would restart this week, but Guaido on Tuesday said there had been no official statement that they would attend a new round of dialogue. Guaido's comments came as the opposition expressed outrage over the death last week of Venezuelan Navy Captain Rafael Acosta in military custody. The captain's wife and rights groups accused Maduro's government of torturing Acosta and refusing to clarify the circumstances of his death. A 29-year-old political activist is seeking to become the first openly transgender member of parliament to sit in the House of Representatives in Jamaica. Rich Richards has said that he will run as an independent candidate in the St. Andrew Northeastern constituency in the next general election, constitutionally due in 2021. The Observer reported that Richards, who broke ranks with the People's National Party on Monday, said he had been a member of the party since he was 15 years old. He told the Observer that being a transgender will not affect his chances at the polls, despite the stigma surrounding those in the LGBTQ community. The police department in Quintana Roo in Mexico rescued 25 individuals who had been kidnapped from a Cancun call center, Police Chief Alberto Capella said Wednesday. Capella wrote on Twitter that the individuals were in good health. In an earlier statement, the state's attorney general said that it was investigating the incident, at the time describing a possible kidnapping of at least 27 people. The attorney general's office is investigating whether the incident was instigated by a dispute between two former partners of the business for lack of payment and employee mistreatment by one of the partners. Internationally, Boeing is giving $100 million to help families affected by the two crashes of the company's 737 MAX planes in Indonesia and Ethiopia. The payment, stretching over several years, is independent of lawsuits filed in the wake of the disasters, which together killed 346 people, the BBC reported. The money will support education and living expenses for families and community programs, Boeing said. Boeing's 737 MAX has been grounded worldwide since March. The loss of the Ethiopian Airlines flight in March was the second fatal accident involving a 737 MAX in the space of 5 months. A near-identical aircraft owned by the Indonesian carrier Lion Air went down in the Sea of Jakarta in October 2018. Rahul Gandhi has resigned as leader of India's main opposition Congress party, ending weeks of speculation. In his resignation letter, which he tweeted on Wednesday, he took responsibility for the party's defeat in the recent general election. He had already announced his intention to resign, but party leaders had hoped to change his mind, the BBC reported. Mr. Gandhi's father, grandmother, and great-grandfather were all former prime ministers of India. Mr. Gandhi was also the face of Congress when it suffered its worst defeat in 2014, winning just 44 of India's 543 seats. This year, it did marginally better with 52 seats, but many still called it a humiliating performance. And that brings us to the end of regional and international headlines. Back to you, Neil.